creepy or awkward. If you're doing that or anything similar to that, I'm telling you now, women are talking about you, okay, and making fun of you, especially if you're doing it in the DMs. I'm referring to more in person, doing it in person, and really approaching women in person because I encourage you to really, okay, that's better. I encourage you really to do that, to start approaching, continue, or if you're already doing it, great. But to start approaching women in person again. So, I'm going to give you some practical, very practical tips and things that you can put in practice in real time so that you can approach women. Because although approaching women may be intimidating, it's not as hard as you may think or as you programmed, even if you've had past experiences of rejection or being turned down. And I don't discount those experiences. I know when you come up against those experiences as a man, depending on where you are in life, right, and where you are in your own energy in that day or where you are in life, it can feel hurtful. It can feel like a knockdown. But also, you can learn from those experiences, right? And know that you don't have to internalize or personalize some woman turning you down. It's not personal. Maybe she was in a phase in her life where she's like, I'm just not trying to date anybody right now. And she could just be like in her own thing and don't, not necessarily want to be bothered. Like, it doesn't have to be about, oh, I don't like him because he's not tall enough. He's not good looking enough. He doesn't look like he makes enough money. It doesn't have to be all those things. And I'm saying that to encourage you and reassure you, because I know there's a lot of content out there that maybe allude to this, or you may think in your mind, oh, because I don't have this, because I don't look this way, or I'm not this height, this woman isn't going to go for me. Back in 2022, I dated someone like the same height as me, and I'm actually not that tall, even though I may look tall right now. So don't be discouraged. But this is basically some practical things you can implement in real time if you want to go out there and shoot your shot and talk to women. And I encourage you to do that more in person now, because that's going to help you. Hey, Sports King Tay, what's up? That is going to help you just put in the reps and build the confidence that you may want to build, or just get into the practice of doing it and not internalizing if this woman turns you down or not. And look, if somebody ends up being mean or a little bit bitchy, just write it off as like, okay, she wasn't for me, and maybe she's just having a fucking bad day. Like, it's not the end of the world. There's so many women here and on this planet and in your city and where you're located. You just got to know where to go, or be able to shoot your shot and talk to someone anywhere. So the first thing you can do, you want to make sure when you're approaching a woman, especially in person, hi, Argo, you lead. You lead, and you lead with your presence. Hey, Mia, welcome. Being comfortable in your own body, in your own energy, right? And not necessarily being creepy or awkward or desperate. Like, when you come off as like not as confident and you're showing that, right, it could come off as very awkward or even a little creepy. So be secure in your own body, in your own energy. And if you have to like go to the gym or build some muscle or do something for yourself to help you dial into that, keep doing that for yourself. Is that Ellen? No, don't. You're weird. I don't know what that means. So retype your comment in the comment section below. So, when you're approaching a woman, focus on eye contact, focus on body language. The best thing you can do is make eye contact with a woman. I can't tell you how many men have said something to me out, just like I'm out, because I'm on the East Coast. So I'm in like the New York and New Jersey area. I don't have a car. And so I'm always like out and about. So a man could literally come up to me in any moment if you wanted to, right? But I'm going fast too. So if he can catch up. But I'm telling you, so many men have like said something to me, and like I didn't know they were talking to me because they weren't making eye contact. It was like in passing, and I'm like, is he talking to me or what? Like, it was so weird. And I knew he wasn't like on the phone with somebody because he didn't have like earbuds in or earphones or anything. And he was close enough to me where I could hear him, but you're not making eye contact. It discredits everything you were trying to do, even if it was just trying to, you saw a beautiful woman on the street and you just wanted to give her a compliment. Like, it discredits everything, and it shows your lack of confidence and your lack of willing to look somebody in the eye. I know that's an intimate place to be with somebody, but if you're complimenting a woman or trying to start a conversation with her, that's something you want to put into practice and get really good at doing. I meant like, don't like you're weird. You're not. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna add to that conversation. Yes, I would even say in the example I was making now, lack of eye contact could make you look weird and insecure, and maybe you're really not even like that at all, right? It's just happening in this moment. And that's going to help you in any area in your life when you're connecting and relating to people, just having a conversation with your friends, your family. Definitely in business, you want to make eye contact with people, especially if you are in a position where you going to have to start leading meetings or leading a team, right? Or if you want to work up to do something like that in your life, right? To level up your life as a man. Eye contact is important. Body language, paying attention when you approach a woman, paying attention to her body language before you even approach her, right? And knowing when to approach her, but also paying attention to your own body language. Like, say if you approach a woman at a bar, right? You don't want to be like, or you're sitting at a bar having a drink and maybe she comes up to order or something. You don't want to be like slouching, hot, like hunched over. You want to be open your shoulders, show your physique, open your heart, show her that you're not, I don't want to say intimidating, but you're not going to create any type of pressure or something feels off about you, because women are very intuitive. We're very creative beings. We're very intuitive. And so we're going to instantly pick up on your energy right away before you say anything. And so your body language and being willing to make eye contact will reveal so much about you. And it also helps to make sure that a woman knows without you saying it, I'm safe. It's okay. I'm not going to try to touch you. I'm not going to be creepy. I'm not going to be over sexual or anything. Like, I'm safe. This is a safe space. And so like I'm here open with you. And you also want to make sure when you're approaching someone, because you can do that at any time, pay attention to the woman's body language. Like, if she's closed off and she seems like she doesn't really want to talk, maybe you can end and keep it moving or not approach her at all. But if you see someone and she's a bit more open, she's social, she's smiling, depending on what situation you're approaching her in, then that may be an easier target and a woman that you can approach and you want to approach, just because her energy is great and her body language says, I'm open. You can come talk to me. You can come flirt with me. You can come start a conversation. So really pay attention to that before you just go in like thirsty, right? And pay attention to your own body language. Again, eye contact, open body language. That's you leading with presence, and you leading with being comfortable in your own body, in your own frame, in your own energy. And number 2, I can't stress this enough, very practical, but sometimes men make it more complicated than it needs to be. Keep it simple when you're approaching a woman. You do not have to use a pickup line and make it like cheesy, right? You can literally start a conversation about anything, but start a real conversation versus like a pickup line. So for example, not too long ago, I was like outside at an outside table at a Starbucks working, and I actually looked rough to me. So I like rushed out of where I was coming from and then packed all my stuff real quick, got in the lift, and then got the man to drop me off at the nearest Starbucks because I needed like I needed to hop on like a meeting real quick and get internet somewhere that had good internet. And so I didn't have any makeup on. I just had my hair like, I mean, it was whatever. Right? But I'm out there and it's hot, so I have on like a little tiny tank top, whatever, doing my thing. And this older guy comes up to me and he says, like, excuse me. I don't know if he said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Or he said, excuse me. I think he said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? And he was like old enough to be my dad. But so I was like, but I wasn't intimidated because he didn't do it like creepy or whatever. And and he said, like, are you taking compliments today? And I was like, I was so taken aback. I was like, what? But I looked him in his eye and I was like, actually, yes, I am. And he gave me the sweetest compliment and then just walked off. And I was like, wow, I actually would have like had a conversation with this man and introduced myself just because of how he opened up. He was really confident. He was respectful. Like his approach was very savvy and yet funny, and it actually made me stop and think like, what did he just say? Because I thought he was going to ask me something else. I don't know. And so that's how that was really a simple approach, but something that could open up a real conversation if you wanted to have. And it was very like cute, you know, very like light and fun and a little flirty, right? Not anything that's too heavy. So when you're approaching a woman, keep it simple, keep the opener simple, and then jump in. You can say anything about the environment, about the setting. As far as compliments, I would say make sure if you are going to lead with giving a woman a compliment as an opener that it's genuine. Women do not like to be catcalled. Like when you get catcalled out on the street, it feels like sleazy and disrespectful. And it also feels like, dude, has this man never been around like a good looking woman before? He doesn't know how to act. It's like giving little boy energy. I'm going to be really, keep it real with you. And it feels almost like sleazy and disrespectful, right? As opposed to if you're genuine about it, if you're going to lead with it or work it into the conversation later, once she's opened up to you a bit, then it comes off as more genuine and real. And obviously, if you're at a bar or some place that serves drinks, you can always open up with leading with like asking the woman, can you buy her another drink, or sending her a drink, being a real gentleman about it, chivalrous gentleman, you know, that lets her know you're like observing if you send her a drink and you're like across from somewhere. And then you can open up to talk to her. If you lead with buying her something, trust me, she's going to open up to talk to you. And this was proven not even in a bar. A few months ago, I was like coming from the gym. I was real late. I was like staying at my best friend's house. And my gym is in her neighborhood. And I went there very late. It's like almost 10:30 at night, right? And the only thing that's open, she didn't really have anything for me to eat at her house. Long story short, the only thing that was open was like Chipotle. I don't even eat there, but I was like, okay, at least I can get something kind of fresh that's healthy. And I was so hungry because I had just like had a hard strength training workout. Needless to say, there was a guy beside me, but he was like spaced out. He wasn't like up on me. And they close at 11. So both of us are waiting to order while this other dude is like making this woman's order, and she has like so many specifics. So I saw him out the corner of my eye. I knew he was there, but I wasn't like checking him out or whatever. Needless to say, his opener was when I got to the cash register, because our stuff was being made at the same time. When I got to the cashier, he actually offered to pay. He was like, you know, I got hers, don't worry about it. And I was like, what? Because I asked the cashier, do you take cash? And he was like, I have it. I'm gonna pay for it. You know, I got you, sis. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. I was just like so excited because I was like coming from the gym, looking rough, tired, hungry. I wasn't even thinking about like being whatever, right? And honestly, again, same thing. This guy like just left and was like, thank you, sis. God bless you, whatever. And like left. I actually thought it was such a cute opener. He paid for my dinner coming from the gym. I would have actually introduced myself to him and like started a conversation. And I said this in a video before, gave an example of being in line at like Starbucks and paying for a woman that's like behind you or in front of you or something like that. And men went off on me saying that was like creepy. I'm like, it's not creepy. It's actually being a gentleman, right? It's actually a fun opener that's not, you know, that's not like too crazy. So you can always do something like that and it will open up. When you lead with paying for something, trust me, it'll open a woman up. So I'm keeping it real. So it doesn't have to be awkward. It doesn't have to be a pickup line. It doesn't have to be weird or creepy. Because my third point is, which I'm gonna say, because I was gonna make a point, but it's more relevant to number 3 of something practical you can put into real time when you're approaching women, definitely in person. And that would be what I talked about. Is that Jamie 19? Hi, from Ireland. That's awesome. Welcome. So happy to have you in the conversation. But number 3, which you can put in practice in real time, this has to do with you more internally, but you can also practice it in real time with the woman when approaching her, is detach from the outcome. I talked about this on a live before, just in general with women. When you're going out there and you're approaching women, detach from the outcome and results. Come with the prosperity mindset around it. Even if it's just, I'm just going out to talk to women, have a good time, and see what the fuck happens, right? Because when you are attached to the outcome, or you're being desperate or needy in a certain way, women can feel that. Like I said, women are very intuitive. We're very creative. We're very in touch with our inner compass, especially our intuition. And we can tell that in a nanosecond, even if she doesn't say anything, if you're coming off very creepy or desperate and needy. And when you come off in that type of energy, it means you're being attached to the outcome and the results in some way, shape, or form. So I want to drive that home, like detaching really from the outcome. And a guy asked me, a man asked me a question the other day in the previous live where I did, like, detaching helps you be more attractive to women. And he actually asked, at what level of detachment is the sweet spot? And I want to speak to this in real time. I answered him in that comment on that other video. But I want to speak to, because some people mix up being avoidant and being detached as the same thing, and it's actually not one and the same. When you're avoidant, you lack presence. It's more than likely a trauma response, or a response from a wound you had, usually from some childhood thing, and you start to not be present. You put up a guard around your heart. You may even shut down or ghost because you want to protect yourself, because you don't want to be hurt again by a woman in some way, shape, or form. Or something about this situation is saying, I don't feel safe, and I'm not going to communicate that because I've done this in the past, and me just leaving and being avoidant is what I've practiced. It feels familiar, and it's a way to protect myself. Being detached, you are still very present. So if you approached me and you're in a conversation with me and you're like, I'm about to shoot my shot, I'm gonna ask her for a number, I would love to take this woman out. You already know this, right? And so you're about to go into it. You're still very present with me, regardless if I say, hey, John, if you ask me and I say, oh, John, I have a boyfriend, or I'm married, or I actually don't think that would be a good idea, or I'm not dating right now, or yes, I would love that. Take my number and, we'll see, or we'll take it from there, or whatever, right? You are still very present with me in the moment. You're present, you're making the effort, you're showing up, regardless of what happens, because at the end of the day, when you're detached, that mindset is about, I'm good either way. So whether or not she gives me her number or says no, I'm good. It's not going to ruin my night. I don't have to shut down and decide I don't want to talk to any other woman today or tonight because she rejected me and now I don't feel good enough or worthy enough and I'm going to protect myself. It's completely opposite of avoidant. So just remember that when you're out here approaching women in any situation or capacity, just know, detached. Don't be attached to the outcome or the results. That's going to help you stay in your power as well. It's not going to suck you into internalizing because some woman turned you down, or coming off as desperate or needy, needing some woman's validation to make you feel good enough. I said this yesterday, you're already good enough just because you're human. You're already good enough just because you're a man on this planet. So remember that. And those are 3 simple things that you can put into practice right away. I was also watching one of my old lives my old YouTube short that talked about this that actually got a good amount of views. And in that short, I talk about how to approach women in the DMs. Now I want to speak to this. And I basically gave the example in that short is you come off as desperate or awkward or very creepy when you slide in a woman's DMs. Is there any books, YouTube channels, Instagram profiles that you would recommend that adds to what you're saying? Great channel, by the way. Yes. I actually don't have this book on me, but this is the author. And he actually kind of talks about it in this book. So this is David Deida. He does a lot of men's work, but he talks to women and men. But his first book, I'm losing. I read that book in 2 weeks and now I can't think of the name. Hold on. All his books. The Way of the Superior Man. David Deida, The Way of the Superior Man is hands down one of the best books I've read so far written for men, because he talks about so many things from a spiritual concept and perspective. And he goes into everything. He dials into dating and relationships. So it's The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. And I could not put that book down. I'm actually going to read it again before this year is out. Right now I'm reading Finding God Through Sex. And he actually talks a little bit about here in each chapter what he's going through and experiencing with his lover, and how they connect and then disconnect, and then the things around that. And then he goes into the chapters writing to men and then writing to women. So it'll be like he'll go into the thing with his lover, then he'll say for him, and he'll write for men, right from that point of view, and then he'll say for her, and he'll write for women. So this is a really good book. But I suggest The Way of the Superior Man is his first book. I can't find him on Instagram or anything. I never looked for him on YouTube. So he has a lot of books written around relationships and dating and women in some way, shape, or form, but through a highly like spiritual perspective. But he still uses very practical language. So in that book, it's going to land. Even though he's talking about it's like a spiritual guide, it's going to land because he doesn't get too esoteric where it would be like over your head or turn you off because you don't speak that type of language. Like every man that I know that has read that book is like, oh, that's one of my fucking favorite books. So I highly recommend that. Another one I didn't finish reading. Hold on one second. But it actually is good. I'm just reading so many things at the same time. And I think he was inspired by David Deida because he kind of writes like him a little bit. Is G.S. Youngblood. He does a lot of men's work too. The Masculine Relationship. The Masculine in Relationship. This is a good book. I stopped on page 163, but I'm going to come back to it. So this is all about how to be a masculine man, more or less, in a relationship, the do's and don'ts, the blueprint, everything. And it's very maturely written. It's not like from like an alpha perspective or whatever. It's just a highly mature book, very practical, very down to earth. The way he writes it, obviously, is from a man's point of view, so you're going to get it. He uses his own examples from him being with his wife and getting divorced to like his current girlfriend partner now. I don't know when he wrote this book, so hopefully they're still together. But and also I want to read this book. His foreword was written by Dr. Robert Glover, who's the author of No More Mr. Nice Guy. I haven't bought that book yet, but maybe you can find, I know he's on Instagram. Maybe you can find Dr. Robert Glover. I have his book saved, No More Mr. Nice Guy, because I've heard really good things about that book as well. And I talk a lot about being the nice guy, people pleaser, and how when you do that, it actually causes you so much suffering. Because one, you're not being real with the woman you're with or trying to get, and two, you're not being real with yourself when you're people pleasing or being a Mr. Nice Guy. And women don't respect the Mr. Nice Guy, right? So those are some. And then the person that I love, who I actually took one of his programs of how to coach men. And I love his podcast, his YouTube channel, and his Instagram page. I found him on Instagram first, and then I just did a deep dive. His name is Connor Beaton. He's on YouTube, Instagram, and he has a podcast. I have it through Spotify. I love his work. He does a lot of shadow work with men, which is important because that gets to the deep stuff that is playing out in your life, in your relationships, maybe even in your career, that can be underlying and subconscious and you don't even know it. So, right, because it's in the shadows. So he helps to bring that work out in men, and he has so many good talks and episodes. Yeah, that's his name. I think it's Two Ends. I love him. I love his work, and to have trained under him, he is no joke. He's been serving men for over a decade in men's work just in general. And I really want to be the female version of him. I don't do a lot of like, I add shadow work in my content, but that's not my that's not my main focus. But I love him. I love his content. He's such a powerful man. And one thing I like about him is I've heard a bit about his story. He's called himself out about how he cheated on his wife, and his wife is still together. So he's somebody who has made mistakes and talks about his own issues that he had in the past and what he's worked through as a man. And it's very relatable because he's calling himself out. He's like, I'm not perfect, and I did X, Y, and Z, and this is why I can like tell you in real time why this doesn't work or what happened with me when I was going through this. And I like him a lot. So he is definitely somebody you may want to check out as well. And I like he talks to men and women, but he talks a lot to women to women, but he's a powerful man, and I just love his energy. And he coaches with his wife. His name is Jake Woodard. He's big on Instagram. He has a YouTube, but I found him on Instagram. And I've been in a few of his 1-day, 3-day classes, and I just took a thing for couples, a program that him and his wife co-taught together around couples. It was more around like communication. And if you were single, you could take it too. So it was like couples and singles in there. And it was like 8 weeks. It was really good. I like his work too, because his work is all around polarity and around really being a masculine man and how that supports you in life and dating and relationship. He talks about the things he went through with his wife because they like, I don't know, they like broke up twice before they even got engaged, and the man he had to go to grow into to be the man he is today and the husband he is today, and now he's a father. So his wife just had her second child. So I liked his work, and when I really started first talking to men, I modeled a lot of what he was talking about as far as like being masculine and masculinity. Obviously, mine is more from a feminine perspective, and I believe in like standing for men being in their healthy masculine. And so I hope that helps. But those men I study, I always come back to their work, their books, their content, and I'm just diving in deeper. So those are some ways, some avenues you can check out for yourself and see if any of those men resonate with you in any way. Great question. I've learned so much from all of them, and it's not about competition for me because I get to learn so much from them, and I've paved my own lane as far as like the men's work that I do and talk about as well, which is around dating, masculinity, mindset, relationships, and things like that. I've actually never heard of this dude. Maybe I'll check him out. Richard Cooper, the Unplugged Alpha. No, let me I'll write him down. I'll check him out. I don't know who he is, actually. He doesn't sound familiar to me at all unless I've seen his face and just didn't dive deep in his content. So I'll check him out. Richard Cooper. Thank you. See, that's why I love when people come on these lives, like live, or just chime into the conversation in the comments of my channel, because we can learn so much from each other. This is about a conversation, right? So it's not just about me guiding men. It's also about like just having a conversation, which whatever topic is coming naturally. So I'm glad we had this conversation. Is it Jamie or Jam? And thank you so much. I'll be back here live tomorrow. I'm experimenting with different time slots to see what's really working for you all and myself as far as my schedule. So you're going to see me a lot, right? Especially this month. Oh, James. Oh, yeah, James. Sorry, James from Ireland. Yeah, you say hey from Ireland, but you didn't say your name. Okay, James. Thank you, James, for chiming into the conversation. And thank you, everybody that hopped in before him. Like I said, I'll be here live. I don't know what time. So just, catch me if you can. If not, the replay will be up. And I'll see you in the next video on the channel. Ciao.